What's going on, guys? So today on this SHOKY, other company that makes objects that transform into other objects review, we're going to be taking a look at something new from 52 Toys, and it is their 5th anniversary BB-30 in the Beast Box line, of course. Mega D10 or MegaDio or MegaDio. I will not pick one or the others because I always consider it to be a D10. But, you know, other people say it's Dio, other people say it might be Dio. I don't care. I don't take a side necessarily, but I can say it all I want. This is the box, obvious. Nice holographic 5th anniversary thing there. I really dig that. Schematic view there. I like that. Nice drawing of the big robotic beastie boy. So if you follow from as we've dealt with this guy evolving, so we got the regular, we've done the 1.5. There was kind of a 2.0, or at least one that came with like a heavy weapons pack thing that I think attached to the 1.5. Never got that, never even had a chance to get that, unfortunately. So we're stuck with just the big boy that just came out a few months ago here, and they were teasing this for a very, very long time. So come over here, we've got beast mode, we got box mode, obviously. Come to the back, you got the really nice drawn version here, and then you have all of the little bits there. And shh, don't look at that. Yeah. Okay, all of the read up there. X2R team designed it. That's pretty cool. I do like all of this. That's pretty cool. I like that. 52 Toys on Insta and Facebook. Go follow them, please. And then, of course, 52toys.com. Then you get Sad Pac-Man, along with ages 15 plus. Hey, I'm right in the middle of that. And then you go over here. Nice thing there. Weapon hole. Yeah, that's a cool thing. And you scan the QR code, do the thing. Come to the bottom. You got all the warnings and such like that. Not for children under 3 years old, which, yeah, makes sense. They're small parts. Stuff like that can pop off, and your tiny little child could potentially die from your funny little plastic box creature you bought. So we don't want any of that. Also, guys, Taro video, 2nd channel. Go watch those things. If you're fairly new here, if you see the review on this channel, on the SHOKY Reviews 2 channel, there will be what I call Taro, which is Transform and Roll Out, where I show you how to transform back to other mode for Transformers or these guys or even Megazords and stuff like that. So go check that out. It'll usually be linked all the way at the end of the video or up here in the cards. Figure that out. Also, I did do an out-the-box reaction review to this on this channel, but it's for members only. I'm doing members only content, so if you really want to join, you can do that. It has a little join button down there. Also hit that subscribe button, please. So many people who watch my videos aren't even subscribed, and I have like 8,600 subscribers and barely getting any views. It seems like there's only new people coming in and finding my stuff, and hey, new people are good. Come check that out. So let's get this guy out here and see what's up. But of course, prior to bringing out the guy in the box, or the dinosaur in the box, you got to check out what was in the box, and you get the instructions. Mine are a little wonky from being in the box. It got crammed in there. Who cares? They're just instructions. Though, guys, I will tell you this. This is by far the most difficult of a Beast Box figure I've ever dealt with. I think the second most difficult thing from them that I've ever dealt with was the Alien Queen. That was a huge, huge pain in the butt. This is worse. Just difficult. And even in the Taro video, as you'll see, I do have to consult the instructions. I don't edit out any of my mistakes. And if I make mistakes in this video while transforming it, I will definitely not edit that out either. Unless it's just for time. But for the most part, I'll have the instructions available. And I did totally forget some of these things. So these will be sitting over here off to the side just for me. And then, of course, you get the clear springy do that goes inside the box if you remotely care about that. I don't, so therefore that goes away. But I saved that in case I need any flat, clear plastics for things such as, you know, mini tolls, if I ever get around to building any more mini tolls. And this should be a very similar catalog that we've gotten in other ones recently. Considering this is all 5th anniversary level, this should be fairly well covered. Yep, I can't even extend it all the way. Come on. Stop fighting me. Now, there was... Yeah, okay, so the heavy armor. That's the one I was talking about. Oh, fuck that then. Not what I was attempting to do. I was trying to get it to pop. So the BB-EX04 was the one I never got to get. So this version here, where he's got the heavy armor. So if you guys who don't know, he's locked in battle with his eternal nemesis, Ghost Dog, or Helldiver. Or Ghost Dog, who became Helldiver. Then you got the Helldiver heavy armor version, which actually looks pretty freaking cool. Once again, don't have that. Sucks. But if I remember correctly, that heavy armor version also allows it to fit inside a proper box charger as well. And then we also have the card. So we got MegaDio, MegaD10, MegaDio is what it is. And yeah, looks pretty cool. It's all plugged in. They're advancing his power. You got DNAs happening there, all this kind of stuff. Okay, so look at the profile. So we've got more courage, bit strength, speed, more courageous than anything realistically. So I mean, what good was it making yourself big and powerful? All right, so nobody knows, where does this big fella come from? Okay, rumor says that Dio, it says Dio there, actually spelled out like that way, was mortally wounded in an assault mission and fell off a cliff. That sounds like I wrote it. That's funny. Rescue party spent 3 days searching for him in that valley and ended up operation in vain. After that, big fella just showed up somehow. I love that it says big fella twice. Who wrote this? That is a really funny bio for Dio or D10 or Dio. All right, so let's just get to the thing. Here he is in the box charger, like you do. And then once again, if you want to go watch the Taro video where I show how to get him... Why is my phone... This newest update has some weird stuff in it. Like, sorry. Alright, so go watch Taro video if you want to see how to very complicatedly get this guy into the box mode. I'll tell you now, it is easier to get him into Dino mode than into box mode. Especially when you've only done it the once. Which, once again, channel memberships can watch me struggle to do that. And this is actually pretty clear. Once again, fogged on the sides. Not a big deal. And if you have another one handy, for those who never get to see how this works, they peg together like that, or they stack like that. And if you have a whole bunch of them, you can build a freaking wall, which is pretty cool. And since I know I'm going to need this guy out, I was going to pull it out now. Set those off to the side, because I don't need that. So here's our Toxicorn. You know, they always... The idea of having to get it to fold into a 2x2 cube is always interesting to me, you know? And then also we have a Dio D10 1.5 right there. And we also have a Wally. You know, I did get Wally back, so I have to, you know, keep him in the rotation here. He must have been bored in that box. Like, you guys don't understand. I mean, he was in a box for a long time. Now, he does have accessories, and he did come... Well, actually, I'm not sure if he came with it or if Toxicorn came with it. Paraweapons. Probably was for Toxicorn, but I'm going to do a whole separate video on the paraweapons that I got recently that I haven't shown off. And I think I might want to try to customize them, give them some actual paint, make them look somewhat decent. I do want to point out one thing. I do have an error with mine. It's something that will come into conflict later, and it's this piece right here. It's supposed to be mirrored to the other side. Instead, it's the exact same part. Honest mistake. It's not even worth my time to bother to like fight and get that same part back. Is what it is. But, you know, just wanted to point that out. That did happen. You know, I figured it out at the very tail end of the out the box video. I'm like, why won't this connect? Why won't this go together? And I realized what was going on there. So, all right, got a cool caution mark there. Looks pretty good. Nice tampoed on thing. It has big caution mark there. High speed engine. Definitely got an engine. And then over here, you got like the Dino faction on that side. You got weapon socket, which is cool. So you can poke a weapon there. You can also poke a weapon in there. You could poke weapons in here or there if you want to put weapons anywhere. And you got little gray dots right there just for the heck of it. Some metallic silver. You know, getting metallic paints on these things is always nice. You know, the early days, I don't even think there was any, and then they started adding it fairly recently. Even got some here. Pretty cool. Once again, it's a box, and it is a giant pain to get this thing into its box form. So let's get them out of the box form, shall we? So we've got a couple small tabs holding on what are clearly the feet right here. Like that. And then this gray piece is tabbed into translucent red piece. Actually, technically it's the other way around. The red piece is tabbed into the gray piece, but you know what I mean. And just kind of give it a wiggle. Don't pull back, pull out, so you don't want to break off that little tab. Okay, so we can just sort of, I think we can go ahead and just bring these back and settle them in place for now. White pieces need to bring up. They will close eventually, but you just want them up and out the way for now. And then the leg parts here. The legs are the part that is the most complicated thing to transform, the thing that's most confusing to transform. So that's why it's going to take a minute to figure out how to do it. You can go ahead and straighten up the toesies. You can do that now. We can rotate out and then down like that. That may not be 100%, but that's at least the point, is to get it down and out of the way. We'll figure out later if that's the right direction. I think it is, given how the legs function. Okay, so we can now also get the tail out of here, which is just slotted into there, into that little slot. Just sort of get him down. Whoa, hey. Not time for that yet. Some things just sort of come unpegged when you're not looking. Okay, where are we at now? All right, so like this, and we can... Super squeaky. Okay, so we want to disconnect this. So the caution thingy, flip it forward. I think if I pull it all the way down, hold on. There's a sweet spot where it'll get out of the way. I just don't know what it is. Okay, so sort of flip these out like so. So you can see here, we got the whole leg shabam here. Go ahead and pull this out like so. And then we're going to flip it. Oh, it's getting caught. We're going to flip it around and then tuck this kind of up. And then bring the caution thing around here. And there's a slot right there, and that tab will go into it. And then I think we want to rotate this around. I think that is what we want. Seems right. And then this will come down and around. I think ultimately that's how we want our leg to go. So let's see if we can get this side to do the same thing. Probably not, because, you know, that's my luck. Okay, so straighten out, bring it down, flip it back, kind of rotate, because this ball joint here needs to be straightened out to a degree. Bring this all the way around, flip that around, and you can see how that becomes a tab, or a slot right there. Bring this guy down, and tab it in. And then that's what I mean, where it's like, it's so much easier to get this guy into bot mode. Because even the first time I did it, it was so much easier. So I think that's pretty much it for the feet. For the tail, we need to bring this up. Like so. It will extend it to reveal another ball joint. Bring this all the way up. And then we want to close the white part. You can actually go ahead and remove these guns because they don't technically stay there. They're just there for this transformation, which I find silly. Okay, now we need to open up the chest right here. Bring it all the way down just to get it out of the way. My ear's ringing all of a sudden. Go ahead and bring the arms down. Bring the head out like a snake. Just interesting, like that. And then back here, in the Taro video, I kind of skipped over it. So these little hinges here will drop down like so. See how that did that number? And then actually, that's pretty much how that needs to go too. So this needs to come down like that. Actually, not yet. Hold on. Like this. And then close that up. So that'll lock the legs in a lower position. And then the gray bit here will snap in right there, making that solid. So the white piece needs to be poking out. That's just the thing you got to do. Okay, we're nearly there. So now it's just kind of finagling these little front clawsies, however you want them to be. like that. Tail sort of there. These gray pieces need to be flat and then folded up like that. Take your guns, unfold them, and then peg them onto the spot. And you can just position them however you want to. And I think we're done with this guy. And he's now in his epic frickin' robot mode. I'm sorry, dino mode. Technically robot mode, because he's a robot. Yeah, look at this big guy. Look at this big chunky. Look at this big chunker. Actually, let me get a picture of that. Boof. That's a good picture. Hold on, let me flatten out the camera. There we go. So one thing I'm not a fan of is the use of light piping for the eyes, because I like it better when they have them painted. It gives them more life. These are actually red translucent, but you can't tell. Like, there's no good way for light piping to get in there. Also, I like the fact it says HG antenna right there. I don't know what that means. Like, there's a weird little thing going on back here. Like, you can see right through there, something is going on there. But if you open up the mouth, I don't think there's anything back there. We do get the red translucent up under the mouth. We have some hoses in there, actually very much like the original bot. As far as I know, nothing here actually unpegs. But there's definitely something that looks like a tiny hinge right there. Let me see. I want to see something here. Because this is something that... There's... A lot of these newer ones have secrets. And I don't tell you how or what they could be. Because this doesn't look like it comes off. Well, actually, it kind of does. Does the yellow bit come off from the cheeks? I think it does. I don't know. There's something there. Something's going on there. Either way. Let's go back to what I was talking about. So the jaw opens up all the way. He does have a ball joint mounted head, but then he has this neck joint here and down there. He did get some nice pistons and everything else like that painted in gunmetal. Looks fine. His arms are just on ball joints. I wish they'd given him a little bit more to deal with here, because they're just kind of stubby little guys. Single joints, and then you got like the T-Rex claws. Just super annoying, because these legs are essentially useless. Let's just be honest here. And then the other thing is you leave those holes just open there. Super tight ball joints for the leggy dudes. Yeah, gives you some movement. Not too bad. You get a little bit of universal out of it as well. Big red translucent parts that don't do anything other than just be big red and translucent and glued on, which is pretty obvious when you see the glue through it. You can utilize this as more of an ankle swivel. These white parts can move just a little bit up and down. I don't know if that'll help you with range of motion or just cleans up the box mode. The ankles, pretty familiar system. We've seen this on Gundams and other model kits. So you got a ball joint going into here, and then just kind of swivel joints elsewise. You even get toe tilt for transformation, but it would allow you to really actually get him in a dynamic kind of pose, if you like. Tails back here on this ball joint gives you some swivel. You get a little bit of movement. If you have weapons, you can plug them in there. He does have his two back cannons, as we've already seen, silver paint. Do it as you please with those. Get a little bit of a turn. I kind of wish he had some rotation at the base of his neck, not just the bottom of his head. That would really help with some of the movement that he can't do. It seemed like earlier, it seemed like I got that to move in a way that was a little different, but maybe that was just something I should not have done. Maybe I just turned something that wasn't meant to turn. But yeah, you can prop himself up with his big chunky tail, but he's also got enough friction that he can do the kind of long drawn out robot or drawn out dino mode. Actually, that looks better to me than the upright version. I like this a little bit nicer. In fact, we can compare. So here he is, next to the OG. So this is an original. This is BB-01. It's pretty cool. Big difference, you know, but you can still see the references. The legs still look vaguely similar. Same yellow and gray theme that he's had the whole time. You know, of course, with the upgrade for the 1.5s, the arms change, and he gets weapons and stuff like that. So, speaking of, because this guy does have interaction with the 1.5, so you can bring in the 1.5er like this in box mode, and you can, in fact, kind of set him right in here, and then utilizing that peg from the weapons, you can peg it into the side right there, and it will hold him in place mostly. Like I said, this one, which one's wrong? I think this is actually the correct one. Oh, actually, this is the wrong one. Yeah. So this one's right, this one's wrong, so that means he'll never be plugged in there properly for the life that I have him, but it's okay, it'll still hold in place. So you do have the ability to just haul around another one. Now, one thing is, I do think that there's the kangaroo one that has come out. I believe is based off of this, just with some modifications, because it looks vaguely similar in the multiple transformation. I'll probably end up picking that one up, and it does come with a little baby as well, which is pretty cool. But the fact that you can get most of the interaction from your previous dials and D10s involved is actually very, very cool. I assume that if you have the weapons, the heavy weapons from that guy, you could probably integrate those somehow. It's not in the instructions, but I bet there's a way to do it, considering the amount of holes. One thing that bothers me is unless he's supposed to be bigger, because these things don't exactly scale to anything. If he's meant to be bigger than the original one, but the head is supposed to be the same size, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, that is essentially the same job, but actually more to it. So it would make sense if this was supposed to be enormous and the heads were roughly supposed to be the same. But for them to basically be the same size, but just more complicated, doesn't make a whole lot of sense in and of itself. So in universe, I assume he's meant to be significantly larger than this. And I guess in theory, if you wanted to take his little weapons dealie that's back here, you could probably plug it into any of the tails. Same thing with paraweapons. You could do any of that. But let's go ahead and bring in other ones to compare to. So Demon Dart. Yeah, because all the other ones are still in their boxes on the shelf right now. I haven't set up any kind of display for them yet. Alright, and just from the last review, Toxicorn. This big bully ball. Just still say somebody's supposed to plug in there. We'll see what happens in the future. So, very cool releases. All new molds, stuff like that. I really do dig it, even though this one, you know, still has interactivity with the old molds. But they're getting cooler and cooler stuff. Now, I do have several on order that I will ship sometime soon, waiting on one more thing to come in, just so I can just maximize my boxage, as it were. Oh, I cannot believe I completely forgot this, so let's get these guys out of the way. I forgot he does have effect parts. He's got weird digitized fire. It's very strange, but it is a thing that happens. It does have little separate pieces here. They do have little peggies there, so you can plug it in. Like, this is kind of how it shows to go in the book. And then you would use this guy here and plug it inside the top of the mouth. So the interesting thing is that it doesn't plug into the back of the mouth. It plugs into the roof of the mouth and is supported. And then you have him breathing weird digital fire. And then I guess if you were so inclined, you could take these and like plug them back here. Stuff like that. I don't know. You can play with it as you please, realistically. You know, where do you want fire coming out of your dio? Like that. You know, get him to lean back and roar a little bit. The fact they didn't do him in a Godzilla deco is interesting. They do have a Godzilla referenced creature, sort of. But like, this would have been the one to go, especially with modern Godzilla. That's a lot chunkier. It would totally make more sense in this mold. But, you know what? Don't put it past them. They'll probably do something like that. I mean, you could even come back here and, you know, have it coming up the tail or something. You know, spikies. It's your toy. Do with it as you please. you know, so you could do that number. Now he's got little fire plumes coming out of him. So there we go. Sorry, I almost completely forgot that my arm was sitting on top of it, basically. So, and then there's a couple little spots there. You gotta wonder if you could plug more things into it. But yeah, that's it for the MegaDio, Mega D10, whatever. Very cool new mold. Definitely more complicated than anything. A little easier to get back into this mode than to get into box mode. Like I said, go watch the Taro video. That will be at the end. And of course, you want to pick it up, you can pick it up at anywhere online that you want to. Did it come in BBTS? I think I got this in my BBTS order. Yeah, I got him and Toxicorn from BBTS, but Chosen Prime had them in stock, and I believe that TF Source also did, but BBTS is where I prefer to get them if I can, but I settle occasionally for Chosen Prime as well, because they had them in stock for quite some time. That didn't mean that to rhyme, but it did. But I'll see you guys next time. Still going. Remember, as always, keep on nerding.